Recording in progress.
Hello, welcome to MyWebUniversity free educational videos. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you will get the latest updated videos that I post. And the URL is showing up here, which is on YouTube. And this is Wahid Lutfi. I'm presenting this session. If you go back to the website, this is the URL that you can find all the videos that I have already posted, and I will be posting further. Today, I already posted this video, Learn Linux Operating System Advanced Level, Chapter 4, Part 1. So on Part 1, we discussed the first 11 commands with all the examples. And then on Part 2 of this session, which is this session that I'm going to cover next, will be discuss the next 11 commands from Chapter 4. As you can see on Chapter 4, we have about 88 commands altogether, with some of the commands having 10 examples, some of them 20, some of them 3, some of them 5. So altogether, there's more than several hundred commands with examples showing on the website, as well as I'm going to do it on the terminal side. But you're welcome to use a browser. All you need is a browser and internet access, and then you should be able to practice any of these commands. So we covered the first row, which is a user add through group check. All of those 11 commands we already covered on the previous video, which is this one. And then if you want to watch that video, is about 52 minutes, almost an hour. And then I'm going to cover the second row on this session. So let's just open up the PDF file that I brought up for this one. And as you can see, I already, I'm going to start from the beginning on the slideshow to just show you the main page on the MyWebUniversity website. On mywebuniversity.com, I have a lot of videos that I have posted. The links are on the website, and then they're pointing to MyWebUniversity free education videos on YouTube channels. So no matter how many videos I posted, the storage will be using YouTube, and it's all free for you. Please click on the my YouTube channel and then subscribe. Subscription is free, but you will get the latest and greatest updates there. On the website as well, we are having the technical documentation, which I have written the Unix and Linux manual pages. From the manual pages, I formatted with Python and JSON and XML and all those details of CS3 in a nice format. These are all static HTML files that are done. The reason it's static is that I don't have a web server running on Solaris platform, a web server running on Mac, and I don't have a CentOS or a Linux. I do have a Linux Ubuntu, but I don't have a Windows to generate the Windows help and everything, as well as PowerShell. But I did it at one time on different machines, and then through my Python program, I generated all of them and then put it into target file, and then displayed on the screen every time you do it through some Python scripting. The dynamic part for the Linux Ubuntu manual pages is this chapter 7 of my book. Search for any Linux manual pages. There's about 6,000 or 7,000 Linux manual pages that are there, and then I just generate that one dynamically for you. So that is dynamic because it's running on the Linux Ubuntu server, which is hosted in the cloud, and then I present it to you on your browser. So you can type in any command of your choice on your favorite search engine. I mean, it's just a favorite web browser. Then you could use it and get to know the system or the command. So and the first thing about this book, The Direct Path to Linux Ubuntu, it has about 7 chapters, and chapter 4 is the topic of today's session, especially the chapter 4, have already provided a summary video for chapter 4, and you can see that it has about 88 commands. We already covered the first row, and then we're on the second row right now. The first row, we did this one, this posted already on the YouTube. You're welcome to watch it. And then the second row, which is type, extended for, mkfs, wget, journalctl, introduction. Introduction is kind of like intro is a command that will give you introduction. It's not an advanced level, but it tells you what a shell is, what is Apache, and what is an environment variable, how to get into the system, how to create certain things, and how to do if statement, while statement, for statement. So it falls in this category I posted here. The ls attribute is the extended version of the file system. The fstab file system table, mount, to mount the file system, whether it's xfs, extended 2, extended 3, tempfs, use the mount command. And the opposite, when you unmount it, you use the umount. The pgrep is process grep, so you're just doing from the proc file system. There's a lot of command like pgrep, pmap, s3, pwdx. We will talk about /proc file system also, but I occasionally type in one command, and that way I can jump into the entire concept and discuss as many commands as we can catch on a session. So this is really neat for covering this 11 commands on this session. The part 3 would be starting this one, pkill through env. And then part 4 would be the curl through hostnamectl. PS3 is part 5, which is a process stream tree. And then swap on is the last one on this one. GNU debugger, GDB and DDD and ls hardware, all of those one will be covered as well. And then netstat is through a new cal for a new calendar. And then the gcore is the last one on 88 list of 88 commands that are the last 11 there. So after that one, I'm just having this interface that I provided on chapter 7, so you can generate any Linux and Unix commands. And then on the summary, I'm just thanking you for just signing up on our MyWebUniversity free education videos. Please don't forget to subscribe, and you're welcome to watch the videos as well as read the manual pages, as well as follow up the 7 chapters on the direct path to Linux Ubuntu. This is what the summary of this one is. And then here again, I'm just showing the bits and ones, zeros and ones of everything on the computer is in binary numbers, is stored on the storage, as well as processed on the CPU, and registers and arithmetic logic as zeros and ones. And then I'm just showing you the MyWebUniversity free education videos, so you can subscribe. That way you can get the latest one here. Let's go back to the browser, and then from the browser, at this time we're ready to just cover in the second part of chapter 2. Chapter 4, Advanced Linux and Unix command lines. Basically, it's a Linux Ubuntu in this case. So let me just make this screen a little bit big. That way we look at the user, and the what is section, the man page, the examples. And for each command, if you type in the type, you have a section of what is the type command. There's a manual pages for it. If there is a one, the command will have a man page. If it doesn't have, like type doesn't have it, I'm not listing anything. And then similarly for extended for and the mkfs and everything else. So if you click on the type, you can just basically come in on the website. Let me just make the size a little bit smaller so you can see the entire interface. So here, one more. And then here, basically, you're seeing the website is just telling you what is type. Type, write a description of command type. So if you say type pwd, it says it's a built-in shell command. And similarly, if you type in the hostname CTL, type on that one, it says that /bin system CTL is a binary type, and then it's if you do the type on type itself is also is a shell built in. That's why there was no man pages for it. The journalctl is another command for journal logging of the system for system D. And then this is also showing you the type for it. So, and then for Python 3, version 3 is Python is there. So let's just go to this interface. We already showed you the welcome page, and then I'm going to clear this screen and then minimize this window. I'm going to come back here and then do this one with the idea of root. Actually, for some of the commands, I don't need to be root. So let's just leave this window on the side and use the first window, which I'm logged on as wlutfi, ID wlutfi. So if I say type system D, it says that user system D is user bin system D. If I say type itself, it says it's a shell built in. Similarly for type pwd, then you can see that that is a built-in also. Type Python 3, and then if I say the path to it, also user bin Python 3 is similarly. And then there's another file command that is similar to the type. Type is just showing you what type of file it is, but file shows you whether it's a source code, text file, or binary file, or symbolic link, or as a directory, and something like that. So if I just look at the file user bin Python 3 and say, okay, yeah, that is a symbolic link because of this dash, I mean L for the first file, it shows that it's a symbolic link. And this name is also an alias or a symbolic link that is pointing to the actual binary is called Python 3.8. So if I say Python 3.8, look at that one. Is that a symbolic link as well? And then it says, no, actually that one is an executable file. And you can see the size of the file is huge. And then the reason this is not an alias is because it says a dash, meaning it's a regular ordinary file or ordinary file. So if I say file user bin Python 3.8, this one will say executable link format 64-bit. And executable link format is basically a binary file on the x86 architecture, as well as it says dynamically linked, and the interpreter is loader Linux x86 dot shared object. Shared objects are equivalent to a dynamic link library of DLL files of the Windows. And then .sa is a static object. The difference between SA and SO, SA files, when they are getting loaded, the function that is inside the library, and let's say it's a function print statement function, and then 5 users are calling that print statement with different file name and different printer name, all of that, the function gets loaded on the server 5 times because it's static. But if it is dynamic, like .so, even if the 5 people loaded on the same server, the function gets loaded into memory once. So the memory is used a very small footprint of memory. The function, if it takes 2 kilobyte, the 2 kilobyte only gets it. But if on the static files that 100 people are using it, every 2K adds up. So it eats a lot of memory on your system. The static files are not good because basically on the old legacy system, everything was static, but there's some advantages of certain files that has to be static at some point, and then you just as a developer determine that whether you should make it a static file or a binary, I mean a shared object library. So mostly the shared object libraries are better. And then these files you can see, and there's commands also with LDD and other ones that you can do on these shared object file. to show the content of the files, and then statically linked or dynamically linked, all of that one there. And so we discussed Python 3 type, and then we also discussed a file. And so one more command we introduced to you in addition to type was file. Extended 4 file system, extended 2 file system, extended 3, or Linux file system. And the old legacy system we were using extended 2, then there was enhanced version of it, extended 3, and then extended 4. For each upgrade that they did from extended 2 to 3 and 4, some of the functionality in terms of the feature were enhanced. For example, one of them maybe just did not support the large file system transfer or large file copy and creating large file. Then the extended 4 allowed that one. The size of the file name, the block size, and everything else were just keep changing based on the these. And then in addition to this file system, like if you look at the manual pages, for each one of those ones you click, you get a still extended 2, extended 3, extended 4. It's the same one because for all of them is man section 5 of X. Even if I say minus S5 and then extended 2, then it's going to come out the same page here that is there. Or extended 3, it's going to say in this. And even if I say extended 3 here, it's going to not change anything here. But if I say, give me the bother file system, then you will see that the bother file system changed. And then our XFS file system, you can see, and the extended file system is there. There's a lot of file system on Linux, and basically a file system allows you to create partitions on the logical block. So if you look at the command line here on a system, when you do a cat etc fstab file, you can see some of these dev/sda2, dev/sda_b2. Those are SCSI disk drive that are on the system. So these volume groups are the volume groups that were on the system also. So each one of them, like for volume group display, you can see that this is a list of the volume. The volume group is name is there, but then these are like XFS or logical file. So LV display will just show you all the volumes that are on the system, whether it's var, user, or home, or something else. So like, for example, /home, if you look at that one, say grep -i home etc fstab, on the file system table, we're looking this volume group mounting this one as /home. And when we look at the df-h of /home, you can see it's 94 gigabyte available, about 4 gigabyte in size, and 5.4 gigabyte is used on it. So and then the same thing with the other file system. So when you do df-h type extended 4, you see all the extended 4 file system, or df-h p extended 3, and there's the extended 3 for md1, the file system that's mounted as root. And if you look at extended 2, since there's none, it says that I do not find a system file system. As you can see here, if I look for grep for -i for extended on etc fstab file, you can see that it's there. Similarly, df-h on type of tempfs, temporary file system, is the /ran and dev and all shared memory, and all those dev shared memory would be one of them, and then the locking that are happening. So the volume group and display -l, actually without the -l, it gives you all the list of them for the volume group, and then logical volume group display will give you the ones. So if I want to look only for the dev volume group 00/home, I can get this. And then I can also get another command that's very useful. It's called list blocks. So this SDA disk and then SDB and how they're done and whether the logical volume, all of them are showing what is it mounted as. It is there. We are going to discuss other file system as well. And if you do a man page on extended 4, you can see that while you're running extended 4 and 2 and 3, you can also look at the next part, which is the C also. On the C also, it has extended 2 file system checker. When the file system has some inode problem or something, you can run these one to check for file system corruption. 2 and 2fs, and because XFS is also extended file system, you can extend it and grow it. And then there's mount command and unmount command. This change attribute and ls attribute we will be also discussing on this section or this session. So let's go back to the chapter 4. We already discussed this, and then now we're going to get to mkfs. Mkfs is whenever you create a disk, you partition it like these partitions. If you look at the ls block, you could see that is there. So if I say fdisk-l dev/sda1, it will tell me the size, everything. And then in order for me to mount that one as a logical volume, I have to create a file system on it with extended 4 or something. And then to do that one is either you run newfs or makefs with a type of extended 3 or extended 4 or zfs or something else. Excuse me. So, and this is very easy to just run and create the file system. Makefs is your friend in here. Let me just see what I did here. Okay, so I need to go back to chapter 4 here and then make this screen a little bit bigger because I want to. Okay, so we're on the makefs wget. Wget is like your friend to just browse on the internet from command line. And wget and curl. Curl is another command that we will cover also. Wget and curl is very useful. So if I just go here, I believe on this one, I'm not giving any examples, but --help and --version, and then the manual pages. So if you read the manual pages, you understand that you can go on a system and then just browse on the internet from command line. And then this is basically the wget command. And then if I just do a --help for the command, it will tell you most of the syntax. But basically, wget, it has option followed by the URL. That's how easy it is. Similarly, curl. So the URL, when you do it, you could just put the URL google.com or MyWebUniversity.com or some man pages or something, and you will just get that information. And then sometimes you use secure certificate, or you don't use like --no check certificate. It's very useful when you're going to a web server that has expired certificate and it doesn't allow you to just download the page or something to from the command line. And then it has FTP and file transfer protocol and HTTP, and then other kind of ways that you can just search it with the user login agent and HTTP protocol, the password, and all that information that you can pass on. You see dash users, username, dash password is the password. But be careful when you're doing it from the command line. Some of them are going with the password and clear text. You don't want somebody to just do a ps-ef on the same system and know your password, and from that time on log in as you on your network. So I'm going to just demonstrate a couple of commands with, or maybe several, one of them with wget. So if I just go back here and then I'm on this directory. Let's say I'm on my current directory. I make a directory called new, and then I'm going to go to new directory. Now I'm going to say /bin ls-l, and I do a pwd. I'm on that directory. There's no such file or anything. But if I just do wget without anything and say www.mywebuniversity.com, automatically, if I don't give any argument, the URL itself is going to just get the index.html file, download it, and then now I have the index.html as I browsed to the file. So if I just say more index.html, is my Web University website, all index.html downloaded here, and then I can read the clear text. But then if you want to send this one, let's say if I just do the same thing, because index.html already exists, the second time I do it, it just writes .1 on it. Notice the size of the two files are the same. If I do a def between index.html and index.html.1, there's no difference. Echo $, question mark is going to return 0 successful. So at this time, I'm going to, let's say just, I'm going to put this one right here. Okay. And then make sure that this one is up here. Okay, so let's just do it on this. And then for wget, if you look at the syntax of wget, I can also do wget -o, say google.log, for example. And then I say the output of it, and then I say www.google.com. I could type in also HTTPS because that's a secure port. So I could just get that one. Now notice that the google.log and then the index.html file number 2 that comes out with the same name, it has a different size, different things. So most likely this index.html.2, the latest one that just came in at 120 on July 4th. Today is July 4th actually already, because that's Eastern time in my time zone. So if you look at this one, you can see that it's a Google site. And then if you look at the more on g.log, it just actually shows you that the file got saved as index2.html, and then the m.log is giving you the information in there. In addition, if I just say rm star here, I just don't do anything and then clean it up. And then this time I'm going to say wget-o and g.log, but at the same time I'm going to say -d for debugging, and then I say https www.google.com. and notice that this time when it arrived, the file came out as index.html, which is the same entire Google index page. And then if you look at the g.log, which is I'm sorry, more on the g.log, this one is basically in debugging mode. It gives you the URL encoding, accept and host name. All that information is just going to show what protocol on HTTP 1.1 is used. 200 means it's successful, it was okay. And so then we're getting all the query status that is successful on these queries. But let's just do another one. I'm going to rm star here. This time I'm going to bring on this one, say wget dash. If I do dash help, obviously it gave me a syntax of a lot of them, but I don't need that one. I'm just going to say wget and dash d and dash o, and then my web university, let's say myw.log, and then I'm going to say http://mywebuniversity.com and then /man_pages. This is the manual pages. Notice that it shows the more mw.log. It came out with all the debugging information there, as well as that directory man_pages. It came out as a page here. So if I just say man_pages, then you can see that that is a file star. And then now if I just say man_pages, you can see that that is my MyWebUniversity man pages. I can tell from man_style.css3 and so on. Alrighty, so let's go to the next one. The next command here is wget journalctl. Journalctl is for logging purpose. So if I just clear my screen here, let's see what that we have on the website. If you look at this, is the saying that query the system D journal journal for logging. Everything that happened on the system, it logs it, so you can query the system D status. And as an example, if you just do journalctl by default, sorry, journalctl without any argument, it just give you a full details of the system as a summary, and then all the what is failed, what is the status of all the logs. Okay, so if I just do clear the screen, I can also do journalctl and then dash or underscore system D and then underscore unit, and then I could say SSH dot service. So if I look at this SSH service, you're currently not seeing the message from the user and the system users and admin. So in order to do this command, I need to run this command with sudo privilege, because that's a higher level command to look at the logs there. So let's just go back to this screen where I have the root access. So I clear the screen here and I run this command. Notice now I'm getting the SSHD services. And then with this, it is nice, you can also get in different format. Like for example, if I just do the same thing with, let's say, dash JSON, then you could dash J without that and dash JSON actually. Just and then you have to go with the option dash O JSON. This is going to give you that JSON format there. But if you read this one, is basically almost like hash shinky or data dictionary, when it is the variable name and the value of it. But it's not in human readable format. In order to get it in human readable format, you get dash pretty. Pretty is going to give you a nicer format. As you can see, it is just a transport and the syslog message, and then host name is MyWebUniversity. Like this is the hash key or and the dictionary kind of key pair value. So the key is the host name, and then the value is MyWebUniversity. Similarly for boot ID, is let's just give you the boot ID, syslog process ID. So the syslog PID is 16380, and then we can just look for the 16380, and we will know that yeah, this is this one. And then the process ID is 16380 also. And then that is journalctl. So for all the SSHD related processes, the executable as user SBN SSHD, and the list of open files for it is, and there the process and everything. And then syslog is, and this other process is 163.99. And then this. So as you can see, the users SBN, if you look at the lsof minus I for port 22, that is also SSHD. So list of open files on the interface on port 22, then you can see the main process for it. If it is listening, it's 17.2.6. So lsof minus P of 17.2.6, or you can see that the entire socket and everything that are on the TCP port for SSHD that is running TCP port here. And if there's anything with UDP, user datagram protocol, you will see it. But if it is not, because SSH has to be a session oriented, meaning connection oriented, you have to have a connection established with a login and password. And then from there, your session is established. So if I just look at PS minus EFA, grep minus ISH, and then grep minus V grep, I can see that my SSH is established for this one. And then the process is there. And then if I just say, who am I can see that I'm coming from this IP address. And then if I do netstat minus AN, and then grep SSH, grep minus I SSH, and grep minus V grep. So you can see that the listening stream that is established and connections are happening there as well. And the ran GNU, this, and the agent is there. And netstat minus AN, and also you do grep minus W for on the word, and then port 22. Let's see, minus I. There's no minus I in this case because it's a number. And then I'm going to do the netstat actually package is not showing lsof minus I colon 22 was there. But if I say netstat, the netstat command runs, and then when I do a minus AN, it also does it, and then somehow I was typing the command inaccurate. So netstat minus AN grep minus I, and then SSH, or look for the listen minus I listen. So if I look at all the ports that are listening, and then grep for colon 22, you can see that star 22 is widely open. And then this is for TCP version 6, and this is for TCP version 4 syntax, and it is running there. By doing lsof minus I for colon 22, you can get also the process ID of it. That way you can see that these connections that are coming and that are happening, like wlitfree, as you can see for this established, if I say who am I, this 47.136 is right here, and it is coming from the user wlitfree. And if I say get end password wlitfree, you can see that it's the user ID is wlitfree. The home directory is home/wlitfree. The user ID is wlitfree with user ID. And I could switch user here to wlitfree, and then that way you can see that my user ID is wlitfree, group ID is wlitfree. And I can also do, like we did the get end, we could also do grep minus I wlitfree on etc password would be also there. And then etc group, I don't want to do on the etc shadow, but this is a 2 and 3. You can see that it's a user ID and user group is good. So journalctl, we learned that one. Let's go to the next one. And the intro, we already said that it's very basic level. It should have been on the chapter 2 or 3. For some reason, I end up putting it on that section as a kind of introduction, so you can see. And basically, when you do a man-on intro, it just tells you that introduction to the user commands. And then it tells you that the system, normally you log in through an extern or SSH connection through a shell. And then the shell is either a bash or corn shell or C shell or 2C shell. And then you can run command like calendar, ls, pwd, copy, move, and any other command that you know on Linux, and they're going to work here. And then some of the shells that are available for you, the corn shell dash and debian sh and c change root shell, C shell, and locate and whereas, all those ones, what is, and those are very good commands. So let's just go to the next one. What was ls attribute? The ls attribute is kind of showing you the attribute of the file system, but it is only showing you the second extended version, which is also called secure enhanced version of Linux. SE Linux is the second extended or secure secure enhanced Linux, but the file system is called second extended when we are talking about the file system. So ls minus ls attribute minus l, for example, give you the files, and then you can give any extension. These are the parameters, and the parameters for each one of them are showing, like if you want to see list all files and directory, including files that start with a dot, and the hidden files, you could see a list and directory rather than listing their contents. So if you just do a directory and do that with minus L, this is similar to the command ls page, command ls, very simple. But when you look at this one, notice on the see also section, it says ch attribute. So let's do the ch attribute, and then we go on. Actually, we can just use this one since already open. Clear screen, man ls attribute. We already look at that one, and then we're going to do man ch attribute and change attribute, change file system attribute on Linux file system. So then sometimes you want to change the attribute of it from whatever kind of parameter that is there, and then you change it to some other attributes. And your choice. But the main thing is with these files, if I go to var www.html directory and I say ls minus star.txt, I could do ls minus ls attribute star.txt. Notice that they show all extended e. And then if I just do the same thing with minus L option, then it says that extended the word. And then if I want to see the D for the directory, so don't show it, like for example, anything here, there's man underscore pages. This is, if I do with D, this command, you can see it does not list the content of the directory. So in order to see the blue in a clear text, because ls is alias to show the color, it is not showing clearly on the man pages. So I'm going to do the actual /ben ls rather than ls, because alias ls is just having an alias ls dash color is equal auto. So if I just do without the /ben, notice that some of the blue color like man pages is not showing up as clear. So in order to not use that alias, you can also force it, and rather than unalias the ls command for using the path to /ben ls, and it will not just use the dash color auto option. So here, if you do this one also with ls attribute ls attr, make sure that this is ls, yeah, lsattr, but then there's the D option that was not recognized. Oh, sorry, and that yeah, it is there, the recognized, but because we're looking for ben lsattr, which is not there, which lsattr, then this one the user is ben. So I'm gonna just do the same thing with the user, and it will run there. And notice that they're extended or indexed and other ones, all of that one will show. So if I just do with the directory, so I don't want to see the subdirectories, I do the -d. And then here you can see that. Similarly, if you change this path and say star.html, clear the screen and then run it for this, you could do get the extended attributes. What is the next one? File system table. File system table is very useful command because everything on your system that gets mounted, it comes in the file system. I'm gonna exit out of this one so I don't have to keep track of both of them at the same time. So if you look at the file system, when you say what is fstab, it says that static information about the file system table. There's another file called etc star mnt tab. The mount, that what is mounted, they are showing on it. Sometimes on Linux or Red Hat machines, you have etc mnt tab for all the mounted one, and then etc init tab for initialization, and etc fstab. On Solaris is VFS tab, which stands for virtual file system table. And if you look at the content of that file, cat minus n etc fstab minus n, so we can see line numbers. And then you can see the line numbers on each of the file system as they are getting mounted. The file system type is determined, and whether they should be mounted on the boot or after the system gets powered down and restarted, how they should be mounted, what options, what are the arguments. Sometimes when you're doing NFS mount point or in some extended for file system, what are the options for the mount points, remounted or read only or read write, and the size of it and the version of NFS, all of that one can be defined on the etc fstab file. This is very useful command. The useful file. So ls-l etc fstab file, notice that it's owned by root, and it is symbolic link to this other file called md. So if I do man fstab file, we get it. But then what about man fstab.md? You can see that there's not a thing, but if you see a etc fstab file, it is saying that there's a file called fstab.md that is the actual file. So the actual file, if I say file etc fstab.md, it will tell me it's also a text file. So that means when I cat the content of etc fstab, it's going to give me the same file as the one that md, because it's symbolic link to that file. So just clearing this. Actually, I don't need to, because it's all clear. There's this command. The first one is showing the symbolic link. The second one is the actual physical file, and the contents are there. So you can also do a df-h type extended for example, and you say, okay, /home is mounted as volume group 0, this one. And when we are looking at the mount command, the next thing that maybe on this chapter that I want to cover, yeah, fstab and then mount. So mount is very useful command. So let's say we do here extended for file system, and we say that, okay, /home is this volume group 00-home, which we earlier looked at volume group display. We had the volume group 00, but logical volume display is everything, and then /dev vg 00/home is showing that it is mounted as a logical volume path of dev vg 00/home. So if I grep -i on the home for etc fstab file, you can see that this mount point that we are looking at /home is actually a physical volume group on the logical volume, which we earlier look at ls block also, and grep. I actually do have more on it, ls block. So you can see that VG group home is getting mounted as logical volume group /home mount point. So let's just mount the same /home. Notice that this home right now, if I do a df-h, I can do a mount command, and then it shows all the mount points that are mounted, everything that is mounted, the options. So if I do a clear screen mount and then grep -i home, notice this thing is mounted as /home. If I just do df-home, I also see that this device or file system logical volume group is mounted as a /home, and then /home is actually the file system that contains the files. So let's just do a bin to see it better. And then this time I'm going to use the /mnt. So /mnt is for the mounted file system /bin/mnt. And then I can also an alias rather than type in bin an alias ls. Now let's say ls alias ls, yeah, and alias ls, yeah. So now an alias ls. Now if I say this command that I did earlier right here, it was showing like in red. Now it's showing because there's no alias with dash color option auto. So now we can do say, okay, on the /mnt df-h grep -i home. Let me clear my screen here and then type in this and then say mount and grep -i home and then df -h/mnt. So at this time I'm going to say, let's just make a directory on mnt, call it home. Now mnt home is just a directory, but the content of it is empty. Right now there's no file, nothing. But I want to just use the same volume group here that is there and then mount it as mnt /home. So I'm going to say mount -t for type, and I want to do also extended for file system. So dev mapper /volume group 00-home as mnt home, and then that gets mounted. Now notice that dev/home is this, and also dev/mnt/home is that. Same size, same thing. If I just do a ls-l on /home, you can see that is there, and also I can do on the mnt/home, I can get the same file system. If I just go and touch something, because I mounted as read write, I can touch that one. So now this is done, and then the file system, when I do a df-h, notice that df-h and grep -i home, you could see that this /home is there. But the other one is just for the mnt, it's not showing up here. And then I could just try this command, say egrep for extended grep, whether it's pipe home or pipe mnt, and then show me those ones. It's still not showing the other one, so the df-h/mnt/home will show that, and then it is mounted. So what I'm going to do is the next command that we want to practice is umount, unmount. The pgrep, I can do that one after. So let's unmount it, and I just say umount. Since we mounted it, mount grep -i home. You can see that the two of them are mounted. One is /home, which is mounted from a fstab file. One is from manually by running the mount command. So I'm going to umount /mnt/home. If I'm on that directory, I could not unmount it, but it already unmounted it. So now if I just run the same command, mount and grep -i, it only shows the first one, which is coming from a fstab file. So the thing that I did it on the /mnt is gone. The /mnt home is there, but it's 0 byte. There's nothing there. So in order for me to clean it up, I could say rmdir /mnt/home. Now that directory is mnt is exactly what it was with the ISO and other stuff, and we're good. And then now let's go back to the pgrep command. The unmount we already covered. Unmount is also giving you like manual pages, and you can just run the manual pages and run for these commands. as you can see. All right, so let's go back to the last command, which was pgrep. A process grep is basically, sometimes you want to just get the process of a system, and then you want to get a grip on it to say, what is the process? So there's a lot of the proc file system, on the ls-l proc file system on Linux, there's a lot of big file system, which is memory based. So cat and /proc/mem info, and then pipe more, it gives you all the memory information on your system, as you can see, and that's there. If I just say head -5, for example, and then run the free command -h in human readable, it tells me that it's about 15 gig or 16 gig, that is right here, memory total, and how much is free, it's showing you there, and then all the details. So this one is in kilobytes, so when you convert it, it's coming back to in gigabyte in that size. And then similarly, ls-l, if you look at the proc file system, proc and then mem info, basically it is a 0-byte file, but it's based on memory pseudo file system. It's a virtual memory. It doesn't just physically doesn't exist. That's why it's 0. Whenever you read the content of that file, it is just showing you the details. Similarly, for example, ls-l proc CPU info, CPU information. So if you look at the content of a proc CPU info for central processing unit information, you can see how many CPUs you have, what is that speed, and all the type, and then the model, the architecture, all the details are there. You can also get that from ls hardware. ls hardware is going to just give you the detail of the fit there. There's a lot of commands that you can just get these ones. Now the CPU info, there's another file called proc. Let me clear this screen. Proc, and then partition. So partitions with this, and then if you look at the cat and /proc, even though this is also showing a 0-byte partition, my keyboard is a little bit different from my other one, so the semicolon every time is typed in by forcing it. So the proc file system, the partition, you can see the loopback and all the partition that are on the system, SDBA1, SDBA2, all of that. There's a lot of other file system on the proc that we are talking about, but on that chapter that we say pgrep, process grep, it just tells you that you're looking for a pattern. So if you want to just see the USSH for daemons, for example, say pgrep -u for root, and then SSH, for example, it will just tell you the SSH. If you just say, I don't care if it is root or not, just show me SSH, it will just do this. So if you look at ps -ef grep -i grep -i SSH, and then grep -v and then -v and sorry, and then grep. When you do -v, you don't want to see your grep itself, and so you grep out the -v option as gripping out grep itself. So now we did this one. You can see the same process 1726 and all the other processes 64 and then 87. Those are there. And then similarly, if you just do this one with awk and then print $2, that's only going to show you exactly the output of this one is the same as pgrep SSH command. You can see that one. Similarly, if you just say Apache 2, that would just do this one. And if I just look at this one and look for Apache 2, then again, the same process are showing there. And if I just do for system D, and instead of this system D, you can see this one, and then pgrep system D. Notice the pgrep is a little bit a shorter form of running similar command. And then the system D is itself, 1 is also in the list there to just get it. Let's see, ES minus EF and grep minus 1. So grep 1, this is like anything with that dash W1. You could see that the system D itself is having the process ID of 1. On other systems that were prior to system D, system 5 release 4, like init or Red Hat 6 and 5 and other ones, they were all using init for process 1, and then 2 for a scheduler. So there's now it's system D for Red Hat 7, 8, 9, and other ones that are going to come next. If they are using it, firewall D, system D, journal D, all these commands are system D based. We talked about everything that we could have talked about here. Basically, we covered pgrep, and we're done with this. Sorry, not that one, the type. Let me just go back here. And the second row, we're done with the second row up to umount. The next group is going to be part 3, which is the start with pkl and finish with env, which will be on the next video, because I don't want to have long videos for these ones and you will get bored. I want you to learn and memorize and practice it and enjoy it, as well as practice it at your work, and then get it to do your work better. So that was about it on this chapter. And then I want to just run our banner page one more time here. So my banner, clear screen, pwd, now my banner.sh, and it's basically just say welcome to MyWebUniversity free education videos, where you're just going to, if you click on this one, it says that this is our YouTube channels, please subscribe. So you're welcome to go on this chapter and YouTube channel, subscribe, and then enjoy watching these videos and support yourself and your family with better jobs and enhance your career. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice one. Take care. Love and peace for all.